Hey guys, in the past few weeks, I'm trying to encourage my students to use Google Documents so their work is easier to read. Because if you're reading on paper, like I get it if you don't have any, what do you call that? If you don't have access to a computer, if you don't have access to a keyboard, typing can become a little challenging. If you don't have a computer, you can type your work on your smartphone. Your smartphone has a Notes app, and you can use the Notes app to type in your answers. There might be some noise in this video because we have construction going on. I have this message here from one of my students. Oh, hi, Sir Kevin. Don't call me sir. Don't call me sir. We talked about that when you called. I received your email about the interview questions. Thank you for giving me a chance to ask. Remove Anne, and you'll answer it. Every time I apply in at a, so this should be at a company. This is the company. Notice. Let me copy this. I know you're familiar with my educational background. Despite having challenges, I pursued finishing. So I'm just adding the notes on the side. My college degree. Today I want to share my work experience when I took up advanced diploma in computer studies in Informatics College Institute. I take on I take I took so this should be took. I took my on-the-job training as a web designer for 2 months. That date is March, whatever, 2012. After I graduated from this course, I apply in different IT companies. So, yeah, companies here. I am a 2-year graduate and nobody wants to hire me. So my response to that is, how many interviews have you been to? How many job applications have you sent out? That is very important. I have no choice until I accepted to work at the mall. So it should be accepted to work at the mall. There's nothing wrong with working in the mall. But the other thing is, if you say nobody wants to hire you, did you go to all the companies already? Because here's one. I have a sales background, and one of the things that I learned in sales is, if nobody is buying from you, maybe the problem is you are not talking to enough people. Because different items for sale will have what we call sales ratios. And some items that we are selling, like for example, If you're trying to sell something really cheap, like, wait, let me think of something. Like this power bank, for example. You can buy this power bank for 600 pesos. I bought this for my friend for 600 pesos. He bought two, and I bought one from him. Um, this is really cheap, 600 pesos. So you can talk to 10 people, and maybe one person will buy it. And, maybe you're not very, you haven't talked to enough people. Sometimes you have to talk to 20 people, or sometimes you have to talk to 30 people. Now, if you are selling something expensive, something worth maybe 20,000 pesos or more, let's say, for example, you're selling insurance, or you're selling cars, or you're selling a house, bigger items will cost more than cheaper items. So the sales ratio for more expensive items are less than cheaper items. So for example, I use this example. This is a 600 peso power bank. Will everyone buy this? No. Will some people buy this? Yes. If I'm trying to sell this power bank, I need to talk to as many people as many people as I need to talk to until they decide to buy this power bank. Okay? And that's the thing. This is my girlfriend's Starbucks mug. And this is really cute because if you look here, there's a cat. I'm gonna share a photo of this cat later. I don't have my phone here in the office. So, you can buy this for, I don't remember how much. It might be 400, it might be 600, I might be mistaken. But that's the whole idea. This mug, it's being sold online, and the person selling it has like thousands of people in their Instagram, and I think they sell through Instagram. They have thousands of people through my Instagram, and I don't know how they sell it. Maybe they're sending people in their Instagram some DMs, and that's it. That's I don't know how many people you have to speak to sell a mug, but if you really are selling a mug, you're gonna talk to as many people until you can sell a mug. And maybe you'll talk to 10 people, maybe you'll talk to 20 people, maybe you'll talk to 30 people. Now, here's the thing. One of the things that I haven't considered is that a call center job is not a cheap item. When a company hires you, the company is going to pay for your salary. The company is going to pay for your benefits. The company is going to pay for support employees like the trainer and the janitor and a whole bunch of these, like the manager who's going to be assigned to you. So the company is obligated by the government to pay for your benefits and pay you a 13th month pay if you get regularized. Call center companies pay for medical. Call center companies pay for a lot of these benefits. And if you're earning 25,000 pesos a month, 25,000 pesos a month is something like 300 something thousand pesos a year. So, hiring you is agreeing to sign a contract to pay 300,000 pesos a year. Now, maybe you're entry level, so you're only getting paid minimum wage. That happens. If you work in a call center, it's higher than minimum wage usually. But if it's entry level at a normal company, let's say you're applying for an IT job, let's just put it at minimum wage. Minimum wage is 134,000 pesos. Now, how many people do you need to talk to sell 130 something worth 134,000 pesos? So for example, I don't know, I don't have a lot of things that cost 130,000 pesos. My fridge is worth maybe 18,000. My washing machine is worth, oh no, my fridge is worth 22,000. My washing machine is worth 16,000. And if I'm trying to sell my washing machine and my fridge bundled together, okay, wait, let me put something else there. So 20 plus 16, my bike is worth 30 something thousand. So if I were to sell, and maybe my other bike is worth 13,000, uh, I don't have. And then if I throw in my computer, which is worth, I don't know, some little over 50,000. So I have something approximating 100,000. If I were to sell all these items in a bundle, like the condition is I sell it for 130,000 using my using what I know, I need to talk to more than 100 people to sell to sell to sell it as a bundle. You have to look for people who can afford to buy a fridge, a washing machine, and two bikes, a computer and two bikes. So you need to look for a person who can afford to buy a fridge, a washing machine, a computer, and two bikes. And you have to two expensive bikes. You have to look for people who can afford that, and you have to look for people who are interested in those items. So in the same way, if you are an IT graduate, you need to find a company who can afford an IT graduate, and you need to find a company that is looking for an IT graduate, and you need to match what they want. So it's kind of like a matching game. You need to find someone with a budget, and you need to find someone who's looking for a person like you, kind of like a dating thing. Now, um, so the most important question in that discussion is how many people have you spoken to? So in my case, I told you my experience. It takes me 16 interviews to get hired at the company that I'm looking for. So 16 is the usual number, but how many? But I go to more than I get to go to 16 interviews, but I send out more job applications for that. Each interview might require me to send like anywhere from 50 to 100 different resumes. I mean, 50 to 100 resumes. So I'm just sending my resume out to different job hunting sites and trying to get people to notice me so I can get those 16 interviews. So I get rejected a lot. And if you feel that, oh, I just need to send my resume and I'll get a job offer, it doesn't work that way. You have to speak to different you have to speak to different people, you have to speak to different companies, because that's how it works. You're gonna talk to a lot of people before you end up getting an interview, and you need to have more than a dozen interviews to get a job. It just doesn't work that way. Maybe you're watching too many telenovelas. Well, we have Netflix, and they're showing reruns of old ABS-CBN telenovelas, and uh, we were watching this show called Doble Cara, and what do you learn from that show? Uh, the character being played by, what's her name? I don't care. Uh, the main character, she got a job because someone introduced her to the boss, a good friend of the boss. Her mom is a good friend of the owner of the company. That's why she had that job. Okay, so that's good. Now, she has this other sister who's trying to look for work and she can't find work, and she gets work through the referral of a person who knows where to get work. Well, that helps. But if you're like me, if you're a little introverted, if you're a little antisocial, then you need to approach more people. So okay, so I didn't have a person like that. I didn't have people referring me to jobs when I started out. I have a few every now and then, but usually I don't. Usually I get jobs on my own. So what do I do? I just approach companies. I approach strangers. I approach companies that I don't know. How do you approach companies that you don't know? Well, many of these companies have a website. You can email them. Most websites, especially if it's a big company, they have a jobs page. If it's a small company, they have a contact page. You can look for the email address. You can send a message that says, you introduce yourself. My name is Kevin, and I'd like to know if you have an opening for, and then give them the position. And then if you do, I'd like to submit an application. Please let me know and I'll forward you my details or something like that. So that's that. And I'm sorry for the background noise. Anyway, so this job, wait, I accepted work in the mall. There's nothing wrong with working in the mall. For a lot of people, working at the mall, if that's the only job they can take that job. I applied as an invoicer. Oh, wait. Let me change this. Or maybe the sentence should be, I got accepted to work as an invoicer in a furniture store. Okay. Now, invoicer is acceptable in a Filipino company setup. Like you hear words like that, promodizer, invoicer. But when you type it on an international word processing program like Google Docs or Microsoft Word, maybe invoicer will come out red. I don't know. Maybe my spelling is wrong, but yeah, I don't use those words, so I don't care. I worked, so it should be worked. Work there for 3 months. The date that so short sentences like I kept saying. I worked from March 13, 2013 to June 2013. So March, April, May, June. So you work for 3 months. My contract there's 5 months due to the manager did not treat. It shouldn't be a broken sentences. So my contract there is 3 months. I resigned because my manager. So 2 sentences. Let me type that in. So I resigned because my manager did not treat me well. Okay. I resigned because she mocked and embarrassed me in front of the customer. I don't know the exact situation. You can decide to give me more details about it. But usually, yes, sometimes managers are crazy, sometimes they're angry all the time, but maybe but here's the thing. I made it a point to consider that whenever there's a problem, I do my best to consider that maybe I am the problem. So, if I have a fight with my boss, I have a reminder somewhere on my notebook, and sometimes it's on my calendar, that it's a short quote. Everything is your fault. So by means your fault, I'm not blaming the other person. I'm blaming me. So if everything is my fault, if I have a fight, maybe I am the person that is wrong in the situation. And I really try to think about that. Where can I do things wrong and maybe try to solve the problem? Because here's one of the things that I've learned. I had a boss, and that boss is very wise. He's very rich, uh, very wealthy. He had a lot of money, and one of the things that he taught me is, if I'm going to make you my management trainee, you have to consider that if there's a problem, it's your fault, even if it's not your fault. You're the one who's going to receive the blame, even if it's not your fault. Because as a manager, as a person in charge, everything that happens in the company is your responsibility. And that's the thing. If everything is your responsibility, then even things that you have no control of, it's your fault. Why is it your fault? It's your fault because you did not prepare for it. Now, here is another thing to consider. If everything is your fault, it means that whatever bad things that happens, if you can learn from it, you can make it better. You can make yourself better. You can better prepare for it next time. Because if it's done, there's nothing else that you can do. You can try to fix it, but if there's some things that you can no longer fix, then you are likely going to, what do you call that? Problems have a tendency to repeat. So if you fail in an interview, you're gonna fail in another interview, and then you're gonna fail in another interview, and then you're gonna fail in another interview, and then you've already had dozens of interviews and you've failed all those. But what can you do? Every interview that you fail, you try to figure out what the fuck is wrong with you. Because if you don't know what's wrong with you, then it's not gonna work, right? It's not, there's nothing. So, I don't want to go back to storytelling mode, but I'm gonna give you something really short. So I went to Converges. I failed in the job, in the contract signing. I failed the contract signing because I told the interviewer that I insist on working while studying. I wanna enroll in school and I want to work, or something like that. And even after passing the final interview and all the exams, I had no idea that they already gave me a contract. They're already printing my contract, and they decided that it would be best to not hire me anymore. So I failed Converges at the contract signing level. Now, next, I went to a bunch of different companies and I made mistakes at different parts. Like my answer to the tell me about yourself question depends on my mood. So if I'm really happy that day, I would talk about, all the things that I've done well in the past. If I am really depressed that day because, maybe I didn't get enough sleep, I was in a bad mood, I was stuck in traffic, I'm less likely to talk about positive things and more likely to talk about negative things. And I end up saying stupid things like I didn't finish college. In my first few sentences, I'd say, "Hi, I'm Kevin, and I didn't finish college. I'm an undergrad of name of my school." And shit, that just didn't go so well. Or sometimes, um, I talk about personal shit, about, family problems, personal problems, problems at school, problems with money. I talk about that in an interview, and I talk about, I'm a big fan of talking about your problems in a way that it convinces your interviewer to hire you. But if you're just talking about your problems to vent out and not really, make that the reason for them to hire you, then no, don't do it. And I learned all these things because of all my mistakes. And that's the reason why I want you to consider everything wrong, everything that's happening to your life that's wrong, everything that's happening to your life that's painful. Consider that, and maybe that's your problem. Maybe that's your. Oh, wait, there you go. Maybe that's your. Maybe that's an issue. Maybe that's something that you need to fix. Maybe that's something that you can fix. And that's the main reason why I send you all these writing activities to fill out. Because those writing activities will help you come up with good things to share in an interview. I resigned because she mocked and embarrassed me in front of the customer. So the first thing I'm gonna ask here is, what's your mistake? What did you do wrong? Why did she get angry? And the other thing is, why did you quit? Is this the first time? Like, she just got angry? Maybe your manager's just having a bad day, she got angry, and then you got angry, and then you quit. And then there's that problem there, right there. If your manager got angry for the first time and you quit immediately, then that's not that's not something that a professional would do. A professional would stay and fix their mistakes. So, okay, let me continue. After that, I applied at the mall as a sales consultant. So, let me fix that. I applied at the mall as a sales consultant. So this should be next sentence. My contract at the mall is 5 months, and I finished my contract. So FINISHED. I finished my contract. I have a, so should add an A here. Oh, so it should be had. I had a good record when I worked. So wait, let me see if this worked. So even I finish contract in the mall. Oh, okay. So this should be, I finished my contract at the mall. Okay, so let's. Did you know that this whole document is 10 pages? So every peak season, the company always calls and hired me as a seasonal sales consultant. My manager gives me a recommendation letter as a good employee. So if you're using something like Google Docs, please use the spell check. Please use this grammar check tool. I don't know why, the other reason why I ask you to send me your answers in Google Docs is because Google Docs has a grammar check. And you should at least check your grammar. When I work at the food department, when I worked at the food department, I have customers. Tanggalin mo na yung I have. So, customers. So, the new sentence is, ay na, kasi when I worked eh. Customer, just change this. The customers gave me money. The customer is, putek na ano tong spell check. Dapat nag-spell check ka. Customer is satisfied with my service. That's why he wants to give me money as a reward. Or maybe, nakyutan lang sa'yo, gusto kong bigyan ng pera. I didn't accept the money because our company disallows this kind of transaction. The customer insists on giving me money if I refuse. Paki spell check. May spell check yung computer mo. So, at this point, titigil na ako yung quick check. Pero sasabihin ko na lang, hindi ko na i-comment. Maglalagay na lang ako ng comment dito para please continue using grammar check. Pero sasabihin ko kung ano yung babaguhin dito. Pero hindi ko na itatype kasi sobrang tagal nitong video na to pag tinype ko. If there is a blue underline, it's a grammar error. If you click the underlined word, you'll see the suggestion. Okay. So, the customer insists on giving me money even if I refused. Okay? I call my supervisor because of the customer. The customer explains to the supervisor he's satisfied with my service. So, dapat satisfied with my service. My supervisor allowed me to accept the money. The customer also recommends to my supervisor that I am qualified as a regular employee. After I worked in the mall as a sales consultant, I apply in a factory of bottles. Bakit ka umalis dun sa mall? Mas malaki ba yung bayad dun sa factory of bottles kesa dun sa mall? Kasi ang pagkakaintindi ko, pag nagtatrabaho ka sa mall, naka-aircon ka, and pag nagtatrabaho ka sa factory, mahirap yung condition. I applied as a product development staff. I stay for 2 months. Why did you only stay for 2 months? Our manager... so, why did you leave? Teka lang. Why did you leave your mall job? I applied dapat to, as a product development staff. I stay for 2 months. Our manager decides to transfer me to quality control department. So ito yung question doon. Why do I stay for 2 months? Okay, why did you only stay for 2 months? Our manager decides to transfer me to quality control department. I can't cope up in our department, that's why I transferred to another department. So, ikaw ba yung I accept the decision and the job. So, sila ba yung nag-decide? Kung sila yung naglipat sa'yo, okay lang. I ignore what others comment about demoting me. I welcome my job as a quality control and this job enhanced my detail-oriented skills. I test every detail of the bottles. I make different tests for every bottle. My head in quality control send me to our clients and to our supplier to check their bottles. I'm the one who gives the go signal to pass and accept the bottle or not. I also write hindi I'm also writes. I also write reports if the bottle is rejected. This job I stay for 1 year. I stayed 1 year at this job. So why do you only stay 1 year? So ito, this is one of the things na that you need to remember. Sa call center, hindi ko alam kung nag-a-apply ito sa ibang what do you call that? Sa ibang industry. Pero sa call center, there's something good about staying with the company for 2 years or longer. Kasi ang intindi ko sa call center, if you stay with a company for 2 years or longer, babalik yung investment nila sa'yo. Kikita sila ng pera sa'yo. Mapagkakakitaan ka nila. And that's a good thing. If your employer is making money off of your effort, that's a good thing. Now, if you stay for less than a year or exactly 1 year, questionable kung kikita sila or hindi. Now, I resigned this job because I decided to continue my study. Okay, sige, so that's fair. Now, but here's the idea. If you are going to get hired, do you want to stay with the company for 2 years or longer? Kasi that's the thing. If you only stay for 1 year or less than a year, which is a lot worse, then employers are going to see that on your resume and they're going to think, is this person going to stay or iiwan ba ako nito? Ang company parang naghahanap ng girlfriend yan. Pagtingin yan sa resume mo, 3 months, 6 months, 2 months, naghahanap ako ng serious relationship eh. Hindi ako naghahanap ng fling. Kasi ang 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, fling yan. In terms of looking for work ka. So, parang ganun. They're trying to look for people who are seriously going to say, I resigned because I decided to continue my study. I want to pursue my education into a 4-year course. I enrolled in informatics college in whatever. In January to May, I stayed to study for 1.5 years. My OJT and PC Express includes 3 months before I graduated from college. After I graduated from college, and supposedly I applied in a company, I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition called hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism is producing too much hormones. Producing dapat to. My endocrinologist doctor advised me to rest until my condition becomes well. Doctor treated me and gave me medication. The doctor advised that my thyroid needs to be monitored every 3 months. The doctor explains that hyperthyroidism conditions are very, very dangerous if not treated well. After I've taken medications for almost a year, my endocrinologist advised me to undergo RAI. RAI is radioactive. So parang similar to chemo, I imagine. Treated for hyperthyroidism. Treatment destroys the thyroid gland and any other thyroid cells. For this reason, patients of hyperthyroidism became hypo. So these conditions are not functioning if the thyroid needs to take a pill. After my condition, my mother had a heart problem. Her cardiologist advised that she needed to undergo heart surgery. I have sisters. I have a father who provided our financial status. I'm the one who took. Dapat took to. Pwede rin takes. Pero kung pass, dapat took. From her check-up clearances until her heart surgery, I'm the one who's taking care of my mother in my hospital. This is also my chance to recover my thyroid condition. It takes 2 years that I have no work after I graduate. This is the reason why I have an employment gap. After my mother and I recovered, hindi are recovered, I start to apply for work at different companies. I applied at different IT positions at different places. The companies that I went to didn't give me a chance to get hired. Dito pa lang, you have to change your mindset here. Change your mindset. Okay. Ito kasi, sa choice of words, mare-reveal mo yung attitude eh. The companies that I went to didn't give me a chance. No, they gave you a chance. They let you in. If a company lets you in, they interview you or they gave you a chance. Pag in-interview ka ng company, the company is spending money on your interview. Remember. So, kung kunyari, yung HR o yung recruiter, ang bayad sa kanya is, say, 25,000 a month, kunyari lang, edi gumastos yung company ng 150 pesos kung in-interview ka ng 1 hour, pinag-exam ka or sa 150 pesos para lang i-check kung pwede kang i-hire. And kung binigyan ka ng interview, then that's your chance. Okay? Every time I apply in a company, they highlight my education, my ladderized type of education. They also highlight my work experience to stay at the company for, yun nga, that's the thing. You stay at the company for almost 3 months. Quality position is 1 year. They see my mall sales job. They notice that my 2-year employment gap. Dun sa 2-year employment gap, you can talk about medical condition mo and medical condition ng mother mo. Sabihin mo, I had to stop working because my mother had a heart condition. So, teka lang, bago ako mag-jump to my answer, tutuloy ko muna kasi kanina pa ako paulit-ulit magbibigay ako ng advice tapos nasa next line. Ito pala. Okay, so work experience, stay at the company for almost 3 to 6 months. They also see my sales job at the mall. They also noticed, so may bida pa to, my 2 years employment gap. I apply in a company that accepts fresh grad in IT position, but no one accepts my application. So, hindi totoo to. This is not true. No one accepts your application means hindi ka nila in-interview at all. As in, wala, sorry. Hindi man lang tinanggap yung resume mo. But the fact na tinanggap yung resume mo, in-accept yung application mo. The fact na in-interview ka, in-accept yung application mo. Hindi ka lang na-hired, but that's the good news. Ibig sabihin, in-accept yung application mo. So, mali yung focus mo. Ang focus mo is nagfe-fail ka dun sa interview. So, tignan natin yung interview part. When I am interviewed, I tell the truth with my interviewer, which is good. You should always tell the truth sa interview. I'm being honest with my education and even my condition. I am sad and depressed at that time. I realized that I wasted my time applying in an IT company. No, you did not waste your time applying in an IT company because if you apply in an IT company, alam mo yung procedure. When I looked for work in the first time, I was applying for work in a call center and hindi ako na-hire. After maybe a dozen rejections, I decided to apply somewhere else kasi nagmamadali na ako, wala na akong pera. Tinanggap ko na lang yung kung anong trabaho yung makukuha ko. But the things that I've learned applying for a job in a call center helped me get hired in the different sales jobs. So, 'di ba, call center yung ina-applyan ko. Tapos bumagsak ako sa mall job. Doon sa mall job, na-appreciate ko na pag marunong ka pala magbenta, pwede ka mag-apply sa iba-ibang trabaho. And nung natuto ako magbenta doon sa mall job, nag-apply ako sa iba-ibang sales company, like sa real estate company, sa insurance company. Pero since nasanay ako mag-apply sa call center, pag sumasagot ako sa interview, nag-i-English ako, hindi ako nagtatagalog. So parang, ang taas ng tingin sa akin dun sa mga ibang in-applyan ko kasi ang galing ko daw mag-English. Or, nag-i-English ako. Kahit alam ko yung English ko hindi perfect nung time na yun, ha. Kaya nga ako hindi pumasa sa call center. Or maybe baka yung attitude problem yung problema sa akin nung bata pa ako. So, so hindi waste of time. Every time you apply and you get rejected, as in yung totoong rejection yung in-interview ka pero hindi ka tinanggap, that's good. That's part of your experience. Hindi siya negative. It's a positive experience. No one wants to give me a chance until I accept a sales job. Kasi totoo, maraming company naghahanap ng sales. So, supply and demand yan. Maraming opportunity for sales, mas konti yung opportunity for office job. Kasi kung office job lang, maraming taong gagawa niyan eh. And baka mataas yung asking mo. I accepted the field sales executive position in Pasig. The products they offer are preventive maintenance. I stayed there for 2 months. I resigned due to the travel time. I spent too much time traveling EDSA. My products contain flammable gas. And that's the reason why MRT disallowed me to ride. After that, I applied as a field account executive in Valenzuela. Well, yun yung upside and downside ng sales. Ang upside ng sales is mas madali kang matatanggap, pero ang downside is mahirap yung work conditions. Kasi pag sales, makikipag-usap ka sa maraming tao. So, it's the same thing as nag-a-apply ka. Makikipag-usap ka sa maraming tao, and mag-o-offer ka, and 99% of the time rejected ka, pero yung 1% of the time, which is yung inaasahan ng company para kumita sila ng pera and kumita ka ng pera, yun yung sa sales. Marami akong advice sa sales dun sa website. Check mo na lang dun para, kasi ang haba na nitong video na to. I accept I stay there for 3 months. Ito yung masakit dito. You stay for 3 months, tapos nag-quit ka because of, travel time. I get that. Pero, you might as well, diba? Nandun ka na, na-hire ka na. You might as well push forward until tanggalin ka nila because of poor performance. Pero, ito yung challenge ko sa'yo. Make it a goal na tanggalin ka ng company for poor performance. So, okay lang yun. I-accept mo yun kung tatanggalin ka ng company for poor performance. Pero ang hindi mo i-accept is you not doing your best. So, okay lang na tanggalin ka nila for poor performance, pero hindi okay na ikaw yung hindi gumagawa ng best mo. Kasi kung ginagawa mo yung best mo, kahit nagte-threaten na silang tanggalin ka for poor performance, hindi ka nila tatanggalin because you are doing your best. 'Di ba? Pero kung matagal masyado yung biyahe or mahirap masyado yung trabaho, tapos nakikita nila yun sa attitude mo, then chances are tatanggalin ka talaga nila. But you have to be doing your best. Parang it sounds like wala talaga sa puso mo yung ginagawa mo. That is why meron kang problema dyan. I applied as a field account executive in Valenzuela. So, sales ulit. The products they sell are customized stainless steel and kitchen equipment. I resigned at this company because I didn't get a sale in the pandemic. I didn't get a sale. Meron ka bang sales training? Marunong ka bang Did you use your salary para bumili ng sales books? Did you use your free time para mag-research ng sales techniques sa internet? What are you doing? I stayed there for 11 months. Shit, nagstay ka for 11 months. Anong nangyari? What did you learn in this company? That's the most important thing. What skills did you learn at this company? What techniques did you learn? What attitude did you learn? What good habits did you pick up? Dapat yun yung alam mo kasi yun yung dadalhin mo dun sa next interview mo. Okay? kung aalis ka sa company, tapos ito yung dala mong kwento, then kung ako yung employer na nag-interview sa'yo, hindi kita tatanggapin. Ang tatanggapin ko is yung tao na marunong mag-count ng blessings, yung tao na marunong mag-point out ng kung ano yung natutunan niyang mabuti, hindi yung tao na puro reklamo yung ginawa dun sa trabaho. Okay? Kasi ito yung mga holy shit na kwento eh. Yung mga parang attitude problem. Yun yung, ito diretsahan lang. Ito yung unang nakita ko dito sa nakita ko dun sa sagot mo. And kung i-share ko yung video na to, feeling ko marami talagang magbabash sa akin for saying this na, hindi ka na naawa, ang daming problema ng tao, ba't sinasabi mo na, well, yun yung kailangan gawa ng paraan. You have to change your attitude. You have to change. Ano yung kwento mo? Naiintindihan ko na ito yung nangyari sa'yo. Pero hindi lang yan yung nangyari sa'yo. Ibig sabihin, merong isa pang part ng kwento na hindi mo sinishare. Ang sinishare mo lang is yung part ng kwento na parang napaka-unfair ng buhay sa'yo. Kailangan i-share mo rin yung part ng kwento na ano yung natutunan mo. I mean, holy shit, ang dami kong bad decisions dun sa past jobs ko. Nagstay ako kasi nag-away kami ng manager ko. Lumipat-lipat ako ng company. Lumipat-lipat ako ng company. Nagkasakit ako. Tapos walang gustong tumanggap sa akin. That's not an answer. If you're a professional, that's not an answer. Walang gustong tumanggap sa akin. If you're a true professional, ibig sa diyan, wala ako masyadong pinuntahang company. Kasi ang totoong professional, ang turo sa amin sa sales, pag na-reject ka 1,000 times at walang bumili sa'yo kahit isa, ibig sabihin, kulang pa yung ginawa mo. Kasi being strong in the face of rejection is the mark of a true professional. Bigyan kita ng example. If you go to McDonald's, nagtrabaho sa McDonald's, ikaw yung ate na nasa cashier, sabihin niya sa'yo, would you like fries with that? Would you like to upsize? Pag sinabi mong no, hindi mo naman siya nakitang umiiyak sa likod na parang, walang gustong mag-upsize ng drink or mag-upgrade ng fries or mag-add ng apple pie. Pero araw-araw, part ng trabaho nila, they have to tell you na gusto mo ba ng mag-upsize, gusto mo mag-add ng fries and drinks, gusto mo para para kumita yung McDonald's. Pero, and every day, they receive hundreds or maybe thousands of rejections. And okay lang sila. Wala namang issue. Wala naman nagsasabi na and minsan 'di ba pag yung mga restaurants, may mga magagandang babae sa labas na para, "Hey sir, try our menu, try our ganto." Kikita mo ba sila na parang ayaw ng mga tao kumain sa amin? Makikita mo sila every day approaching people, trying to invite people into the restaurant. Pero if you're like, walang gustong kumain sa restaurant ko, well, that's not true. That's not true. If you walk through the mall, tapos nakikita mo yung mga babae na nasa labas or minsan lalaki na pogi na may hawak na menu, gusto kayong hilahin papasok ng restaurant. And then you go back to the mall and you see them every week or every month, kung every month ka magpunta ng mall, kagaya ko, makikita mo, these people are professionals. January to December, ginagawa nila yun, nag-a-accept sila. And syempre, pag may lumapit sa'yo sa mall, na pinapapasok ka dun sa restaurant, kung hindi ka gutom, hindi ka papasok dun. Kung hindi ka naghahanap ng kakainan, kung wala kang pera, hindi ka papasok doon. And they don't take it personally. Inaaway ka ba nila pag hindi ka pumasok doon sa restaurant? In the same way, this is the nature of job application. You have to, you have to see that this is hard work. And this is the reason why they pay you. Tell me about the missing part of this story is you should tell me about what happened during the 11 months. What did you learn? What skills did you learn? What attitude did you learn? What good habits did you pick up? What bad habits did you remove? Yun yung most important thing about stories, especially if your story is a story of a failure. Kasi wala kang sale eh. So the fact na wala kang sale, malaking problema to. Diba? Kasi your job is sales. If your job is sales and wala kang sales, it means you did not do your job well. Sorry, parang na-imagine ko na yung mga kaya napapatigil ako, na-imagine ko na yung mga mambabash sa akin sa comments. But that's the truth. If you're working in sales, you don't have a sale, then maybe you're not doing your job well. That's the first reaction. Okay? Today, I'm looking for work. I'm full of hope. Do not hope. Work. Do not hope. Work. Okay? Ang buhay ay hindi parang Disney movie. Walang Prince Charming na dadating sa'yo at isi-save ka sa problema mo. Hindi tayo nanonood ng Channel 2 na telenovela. Kahit Channel 7, ganun din. Telenovela na mahirap ka, merong Prince Charming na galing sa mayamang pamilya na magsasagip sa'yo. Pag naghahanap ka ng trabaho, hindi ganun. Ikaw yung gumagawa ng paraan. Okay? I want to work in an IT company. So, yun. I want to use my skills on a computer. Trabaho ka muna sa I don't want to go back to my past mistakes because it will not help me recover. Ano ba yung past mistakes mo? All I want is to have work. True enough. When it comes to my employment gap, I know it's a valid reason. No one likes this situation. I don't regret taking care of my mother. And you shouldn't. I follow the advice of the doctor that I need to rest. Kasi pag lumala yung sakit mo, patay ka. I made it a priority, my health condition. I tell the truth why I have an employment gap. I have an employment gap. The company didn't give me a chance. Wrong! Bad answer. The company gave you a chance and you failed. Napagalitan ka and you quit. That's your fault. Diba? You left. I get the part na you had to leave for medical reasons. That's acceptable. Pero yung hindi kayo nagkasundo and you left, that's your fault. Yung hindi ka nakabenta or matagal masyado yung travel time, you left, that's your fault. Wala kang sale, that's your fault. That is 100% you. It's not true na the company didn't give me the chance. Stop saying that, stop thinking that, because that is clearly wrong. I am sad and disappointed in myself. You should be sad and disappointed with yourself because you need to fix something about yourself. Hindi to, we all experience depression, we all experience problems, but life moves forward. And you can stay there, and I know because I know the feeling of staying depressed for several years and not doing anything about it. But you have to fight it. Kasi otherwise, masa-stuck ka dyan. Makikita mo yung sarili mo parang, 30 na ako, pero yung attitude mo pang early 20s pa rin. And I know because I've had that problem. You have to fix your problem. You have to do the basic things. Try mo munang ayusin yung maliliit na parts ng buhay mo. And at the same time, try to look for the important things na na-pick up mo dun sa experience mo. 11 months in sales. Anong ginawa mo nun? Wala kang ginawang tama dun for 11 months. You have to identify all the important details ng lahat ng trabaho mo. I don't know how to explain my employment gap in my company. Well, you already explained it. I got it. Nagkasakit ka, and then nagkasakit yung mom mo. So that's an acceptable answer. So mali yung iniisip mo na hindi ka binibigyan ng chance because of the employment gap. Hindi ka binibigyan ng chance because of your employment history. Meron kang nag-quit ka ng 3 months, wala kang benta. Parang ang dating as a first impression. First impression, I'm not saying na, kasi hindi ko alam lahat ng nangyari sa'yo. As a first impression, ang dating sa akin, hindi mo ginagawa ng maayos yung trabaho mo. Or maybe may something wrong dun sa attitude mo. Maybe nanood ka ng masyadong maraming drama. I'm just being honest to the company. You should be honest. I noticed that the company, that when I tell the condition, they think that I am physically fit. Yun nga rin yung first impression pag sinabi mo na you had to stop because of a health condition. Meron kang hyperthyroidism. Okay lang yun. Even though I tell them that I am in good health. I also have a medical certificate to present to the company. They mark me as filled in an application. So, kung hindi problema yung health mo, then chances are ang problema yung attitude mo. I'm feeling sad that they didn't hire me. Well, part yan ng game. Part yan. Kung nag-a-apply ka ng trabaho, you're going to get rejected. So, please explain. You have to write this again. I want you to write this again, but this time, focus on the things that you learned. Dun sa bigyan mo ako ng 100 sentences for each of your old jobs. Anong nangyari doon? Ano yung natutunan mo? But this time, count your blessings. Count the stories of things that you learned. Count the positive experiences. Kasi, yun yung hinihingi sa'yo sa interview. Pag nag-hire ka ng tao, as an employer, ayoko marinig yung problema mo. Ang gusto kong marinig is ano ba yung mabuti, ano yung value na nadadagdag mo sa company. Hindi yung, meron akong personal problem. Meron akong family problem. No! I'm not paying you for that. I am paying you to help me. Now, if you can't show ways that you can help me, I'm not gonna hire you. Okay? That's how it works. So, in my story about my work experience, how do I explain that I'm willing to stay long term? Okay. Best case scenario, mag-apply ka sa IT company, mag-apply ka sa call center, sa BPO, do your best to get hired. Puntahan mo lahat. If they give you a chance, stay with the company. And do not leave kahit anong mangyari. Kahit ganong ka shit yung boss mo, ganong ka shit yung katrabaho mo, ganong ka shit yung yung situation mo. Do not leave until they fire you. Ang only acceptable answer why you left the company is you got fired. Pero wag mong sasadyain. You got fired and you are doing your best. Kung yun yung dahilan, acceptable yun. If you are not doing your best, hindi acceptable yun. Okay? So, best case scenario, yun yung gagawin mo. Worst case scenario, balik ka sa dati mong trabaho. Tapos magtrabaho. Hindi dun sa company na yun. Pero, well, you can work in the mall, you can work in the, you do that, and stay for 2 years. Magbayad ka. You pay your dues. Sa call center, kung ang track record may 3 months, 6 months lang, ang tawag sa'yo, job hopper. So, kailangan mong ayusin yun. Yung first few jobs ko ay napaka-eksi lang. Meron akong 6 months, meron akong 3 months, meron akong 6 months, meron akong 1 year. and marami akong short-term jobs na similar din, yung parang isang buwan lang kasi hindi ako nag-perform ng maayos. And hindi siya maganda talaga sa job application. Pero nung nagstay ako with one of the companies that I work for more than 2 years, parang napansin ko, paglampas ko ng 2 years, lahat na ng ibang company gusto na ako i-hire. Nakakatanggap na ako ng mga job offer. Kasi 2 years, longer than 2 years. And when I stayed with that other company for 2 years and I stayed with the other company for 2 years, pag nag-apply ako ng trabaho, parang mas madali. Parang hindi ko na kailangan i-explain yung Pwede ko nang sabihin na parang, bata pa ako, tanga-tanga pa ako, hindi pa ako marunong nun. Pero I realized na, like, you have to stay with a company for 2 years or longer. Diba, may buong post ako about that dun sa website. You have to fix that. How do you explain that you're physically fit? You don't. You work. Anong company ba yung mag-a-accept sa'yo? Gaya nga ng sinabi ko sa'yo over the phone nung nag-usap tayo, nung papunta ako ng grocery. Your first goal is to get a job and it doesn't matter what job it is. The most important thing is that you have a job. You can use your weekends for job application kung gusto mo mag-increase yung income mo. Pero it's bad, especially if you're the kind of person that feels depressed. Hindi mabuti sa'yo na wala kang trabaho. Makakasama sa'yo. Masisira yung utak mo. Masisira yung emotions mo. You need a job. You need to accept kung ano man yung trabaho na and then use your free time para mag-upgrade. Okay? I want to pursue an IT position. How do I convince the employer to hire me? You don't. Given your bad record, malabo. 'Di ba? You can try. You're welcome to try. Pero pag hindi ka nila hinahire, if you get rejected in the first 20 companies na pinuntahan mo, get another job. Get another job. How do I explain to them my work experience? You don't. You don't have any IT work experience. Marunong ka ba mag-code ng website? Gumawa ka muna ng website. Here's what I did. I don't have education in in writing. I don't have an education in being a project manager. I don't have an education in sales. How did I in anything related to IT? Bakit ako project manager ng IT company? How did that happen? I made a website. I made more than 10 websites na ako lang yung gumagawa and ako yung nag-publish. And they think na that's already experience. Marunong siya gumawa ng website. And then sabihin ko, hindi naman ako magaling. Nagpapatulong din ako. And then say, okay, walang problema. Meron tayong i-hire na programmer, ang trabaho mo lang is i-manage sila. Okay, no problem. So, yun, you need to, how did I get a job as a writer? Wala naman akong alam na online course na and at the time, wala. Siguro ngayon, marami na. I wrote every day. Tignan mo yung website history ko. From 2008, nagsusulat ako. And pinagbuti ko. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Ayusin natin yung communication skills mo. Ayusin natin yung attitude mo. If you really wanted to be in an IT position, partial work experience, part-time work experience, magtrabaho ka sa tindahan, magtrabaho ka sa mall, or magtrabaho ka sa factory, kung ano man yung makukuha mong trabaho ngayon, and then part-time magtrabaho ka ng ganun. If you can get a job in the IT position, mag-apply ka as a receptionist, like, doesn't matter. Get in. 'Di ba? And then, para kang naghahanap ka kagad ng happy ending. That's not note that IT, di targetin mo minimum wage. How do you get hired in a company, IT company, and use my skills? Wala! Walang skills. Marunong ka ba gumawa ng website? Marunong ka mag-setup ng network? Marunong ka... anong alam mo? 'Di ba? Ito pa lang, alam mo, binabasa ko tong work mo. May grammar, what do you call that? May grammar check yung Google Docs. Hindi mo ginagamit. I-click mo lang, I-click mo lang. Hire in. In an IT company. How to... Diba? You have to demonstrate competence. Diba? When I shared my job hunting advice, hindi ko tinutulungan yung competition ko. I am showing competence. So when I applied for work at different IT companies, I can say, ay marunong mag-operate ng blog, marunong mag-edit ng website. So pwede nila ako i-hire, marunong mag-edit ng photos, marunong mag-edit ng videos. Walang I don't use words, I demonstrate. And that's how I do it. Gumawa akong website. So may IT knowledge ka, marunong ka gumawa ng website. Sige nga, mag-setup ka ng website. Meron akong kevinolega.com. Nandun lahat ng work experience ko. And I pay 1.5 a year to maintain my website. Kasi ako rin naman yung gumawa. So, yun yung cost nun. That's how you do it. I was working in 2008 hanggang 2011, I was working in a low-paying job. And then, weekend ko, website. And then, binibuild ko yung reputation ko. And that's how I did it. It takes time. Hindi to instant. Hindi ka magiging instant millionaire. Marunong ka gumawa ng website. Pwede ka mag-online business. No! That's not true. You need to have the skills. You need to fix your attitude. And siguro titigil muna ako dito. Yung advice ko will stop here. And that's it. Now, I want you to watch this video again and again and figure out what you need to do. Go back to your old jobs. Try to visualize what happened and then write down the positive experience. Alam ko, mabigat, madaling, effortless makaalala ng negative experience. Now, this time, positive experience naman. Kasi kung negative experience yung unang lumalabas sa'yo sa job interview, then automatic, I don't want to do anything with you. I don't want to hire you. I don't want you here. That's why hindi ka nakakalusot sa interview. But the fact that they gave you an interview, it means that they gave you a chance. Now, I'm going to invite you to do something. I want you to give yourself a chance. And by giving yourself a chance, I want you to go back to all those jobs and start writing about the positive traits. And then bring that with you to your interviews. Go back. Go back to your jobs and write down 100 sentences about all the good things that happened to you at that job. And maybe, just maybe, magbabago ng konti yung attitude mo. And maybe, just maybe, makikita ng mga interviewer kung ano yung nagbago sa'yo. And they might give you an opportunity. Okay? So, they gave you a chance. So, bullshit yung sinabi mo na hindi ka binigyan ng chance. Ang nangyari is hindi ka binigyan ng opportunity. Or hindi ka hinar. Hindi ka binigyan ng trabaho. Binigyan ka ng chance, hindi ka binigyan ng trabaho. Technically, binigyan ka ng chance, pag inaccept yung resume mo, binigyan ka ng chance. Pag in-interview ka, binigyan ka ng opportunity. Pero ang nangyari, binigyan ka ng chance, binigyan ka ng opportunity, nag-fail ka, hindi ka binigyan ng trabaho. Yun yung totoong nangyari. So this time, alam na natin, binibigyan ka ng chance, binibigyan ka ng opportunity. Ang kulang na lang yung trabaho. So anong kailangan mong gawin? Kailangan kaya mong i-communicate yung skills mo. Sinabi mo sa akin yung work experience, pero wala akong natutunan sa'yo tungkol dun sa kung ano yung kaya mong gawin. Meron lang short story about may customer na natuwa sa'yo. That's not gonna help. Not that much. Ano yung kaya mo? Alam ko na IT ka. Alam ko na nag-aral ka ng IT. Hindi ko nga alam kung kaya mong gumawa ng website. Kaya mo gumawa ng website, kaya mo mag-edit ng photo, kaya mo mag-edit ng video. Alam ko graphic designer lang yung gumagawa nun. Marunong ka ba nun? Kaya mo mag-configure ng network, kaya mo mag-connect ng Mac to PC. Ano yung kaya mong gawin? Hindi ko alam eh. Wala dito. Balik tayo dun sa balik tayo dun sa story mo and padala mo sa akin to ulit. Okay? Tapos gumamit ka ng spell check. Sorry nakapamura na ako kasi imagine mo 10 pages yung pinabasa mo sa akin, hindi mo man lang ginamit yung grammar check. Diba? Tapos IT ka. So, what kind of impression does that give? Diba? Yun, hanggang dito na lang muna. Tapos, talk to you again.